Are you not thriving? In this video, we're going to talk about the one thing, the one secret, the one hack that I think you could change right now, and it will put you in the position to thrive on the Mucusless Diet Healing System. Stay tuned. Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Professor Spira, and I practice something called the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret. I've done so for over 20 years and have helped thousands of people transform their lives using those methods. And today we're going to talk about the thing that, in my opinion, is keeping most people from thriving on the Mucusless Diet Healing System. Some people will assume I'm going to say transition diet. And a couple years ago, that's what I would have said. Transition, transition, transition. So few people get into the art and science of transition dieting. So that's like an honorable mention, the transition diet, and not dealing with the nuances of the transition diet. But what I'm seeing is more problematic now than, I mean, it's always been problematic, but it's really noticing it now, which is the attitude, lack of character, and lack of the right attitude that you need to be successful practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System. What do I mean by attitude? Like, that just sounds, self-helpy and this kind of stuff. So your disposition, your mental space, what you're willing to do in order to achieve whatever it is you are trying to achieve. In terms of the Mucusless Diet Healing System, I'm finding that a lot of people, they don't have a strong attitude. Perhaps it comes from a lack of belief. I'm not sure, because I see people that believe, but their attitude. And I see people who have more than believe, they know, because they did enough to see some very positive things happen in their life and in their body and physiology and healing and that kind of stuff. But there's something that's holding them back from really thriving with this practice. And I'm finding it to be related to attitude and the way that people think about and try to practice the Mucusless Diet Healing System and bring it into their life. So just let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. So one of the guiding principles in terms of attitude for me is something that Brother Air, aka Willie Smart, my good friend and mentor who introduced me to the Mucusless Diet Healing System, he said that the Mucusless Diet Healing System for him is at the center of his life, like the center of his world. His world revolves around his practice of the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And I was able to bear witness to this. I was lucky enough when I started practicing the diet that I saw that. I saw exactly what he was talking about. So if things come into your midst that would prevent you from being able to practice the Mucusless Diet Healing System at the highest levels, you let that go on by. You don't negotiate. You don't, man, I wish if I could just change a few things. It's like, no, it's over. It's not to be considered. If it's outside of the realm of helping practice the Mucusless diet, that's it. That's an example of an attitude. And it's an attitude that I don't, like I said, that I'm not seeing. But this needs to be fixed. If you want to have longevity on this path, you want to have success on this path, the attitude needs to change. And the kind of attitude that I'm talking about in 2022 and beyond, it is a warrior's kind of attitude. And when I say warrior, I'm not talking about somebody that loves war, that wants to go hurt people, or that kind of, the warrior's attitude is one that no matter what happens, I'm ready. No matter what comes my way, what obstacles, I'm not gonna change who I am. I'm not gonna change what I'm doing to appease those around me. So something as simple as that, letting go of wanting to control what other people think of you. The desire for that love and affection and acceptance. You gotta let that go when you're talking about the Mucusless Diet Healing System. That's an attitude. Not worrying about what other people think, not worrying about when you know what you're doing and you're gonna do it, you made that decision, you're gonna do it, I'm doing this, I'm not looking for validation. That's so many people, look at problems. Folks are seeking what? Validation. They want a pat on the back from the loved ones. They want to make sure that they're not going to be kicked out of the tribe. Because that's all tribal mentality. That's this desire, like, you know, I don't want to be kicked out of my family. I don't want to kicked out of my tribe, my country. I don't want to do something that will ruffle the feathers. But what Fred Hampton say? I am a revolutionary. Mucusless Diet Healing System is the most revolutionary thing you can do. It's not the most extreme. There's other things you can do. You can go do your 60-day water fasts and all these, be raw mucusless right away. I mean, there's things that you can do that have nothing to do with the Mucusless Diet Healing System that's more extreme. Because something is extreme doesn't mean it's revolutionary. That's hard for people to understand. People look at and think that the most extreme, the most radical thing is the most revolutionary thing, and that is not the case. Because what's more revolutionary than the middle path when no one else wants anything to do with the middle path? Mucusless Diet Healing System is the middle path of the plant-based healing world. We're not as extreme as some of these other things, where you be 100% one thing. The total removal of mucus, the desire to want to get to a mucus-free state as soon as possible, that tends to be different from some of the raw food folks that say raw is law, 100% raw from the beginning. Never use any cooked foods, that perspective, which I find to be problematic when you're talking about longevity and mucuslessness. If you're not worried about being mucus-free, then yeah, it's whatever. You can fill up on all the fats that you want. That's not this. That's just something else. But this is all what I'm talking about in terms of an attitude. What I'm seeing in some of these other communities is, again, this desire of wanting to be accepted. The acceptance and saying the right thing. There's this dialogue, this thing that people, you say the right thing and, you'll be embraced by the existing people that identify themselves as a part of some of these other communities. People, they say the same thing, but it all comes back to this desire for acceptance, which you need to let go. The true warrior ain't worried about that. The true revolutionary and the true leader is going to stand on their own, away from that, doing what they think is right, going on their missions. This is like a mission. I took the Mucusless Diet Healing System on like it was a mission. Like it's a military mission. Like, all right, let's, I'm gonna go find out and I'm gonna report back. I'm on a scouting mission to see what's up with this Mucusless Diet Healing System, to see if it is what it says it is. And if it is, I'll come back and I'll report. So I'm coming back and I'm giving my report. You know, it is what it is. But to do it, to be successful and to do it, you have to have the right attitude. And it's not a soft attitude. It's not a pushover attitude. It's not a happy slave attitude. It's not a feeling sorry for yourself attitude. It's not a being too hard on yourself unnecessarily attitude. It's none of that. It's about getting centered, being centered, making rational decisions, staying plugged into the information, reading Mucusless Diet Healing System every day, or some type of mucus-free writing, or listening to it. You know, having that plug-in. That's an attitude. Just when you make that shift and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna read Mucusless Diet Healing System every day, like a chapter a day, a lesson a day, a paragraph a day, and meditate on it. You could read or do a sentence. You could do a paragraph. I mean, a sentence might want to do a little more than a sentence. You know, a paragraph a day, and contemplate. Think about it all day. Think about it. Because there's so much undoing, mental conditioning and orientation that we have to do, and one of the best ways to do that is with reading the Mucusless Diet book. We have a lot of work to do, is the moral of the story. It's a lot of work to do. But you gotta bring the right attitude to bear. See, you can't be soft. This isn't about that soft thing. Now, I've seen people that, and it's not about a physical, because I've seen some of the hardest, most hardcore people in terms of their attitude. It was paraplegics. You know, or elders that really couldn't, maybe stuck in a wheelchair, couldn't really function, but they had this hardcore attitude. They was coming from something, you know, something ancient, getting in touch with the ancestors. You know, that's a, you know, there's a whole vibration that you can open yourself up to when first you got to be clean to get it, to access it. Some people try to access that ancestral vibration and they're all filthy and they're killing animals and all kinds of things. But no, when you clean yourself out, getting into the fasting, getting into the colon irrigation, getting into the lemon juice and distilled water enemas, you're getting into making a juice, having a daily juice habit. When you start to make those changes, you open yourself up now for vibrations from the past. And it's through the blood, you know, without getting woo-woo and too out there into some philosophy and theology or something. You know, it's a blood thing. You know, if you don't think that your blood is related, it's not even for debate. You know, so what are those memories? It's housed in your blood. What is that vibration? What are you able to essentially act as an antenna? Acting as an antenna to certain vibrations, to certain frequencies and mentalities. You know, you open yourself up. But it starts with taking those initial actions. You start doing those enemas, but it's really when you get to the character building things, the things where you're, where, you know, somebody calls you and they're like, hey, we want to go out and we're gonna go out to this restaurant, or we're going out to the club, or we're doing, and you know that you're in a space where you have no business doing that, where you don't need to be doing that right now because you need to be focused on your elimination. And when you make that decision to say, no thank you, you don't have to be mean about it. It's like, hey, you know, I'm busy, I can't do it today, I can't do it this, you know, hey, I'm gonna be, you know, whatever it is you say, making that commitment. That's what separates the people that's successful from not successful, because there's a lot of people that can't do that. They can't shut it down, they can't say no. when it comes to the social dynamic. You know, they're in the bathroom trying to do they're still living with their parents, and they're in the bathroom and the parents like, what are you doing? Why, and it's like, you either gonna have that attitude like, look, this is what I'm doing, sorry. What, you gonna kick me out because I'm doing some enemas in your house? Or, like I talk about Spira Speaks, turn on the faucet real loud and let people, they could kind of go through that, but where they don't know what you're doing, do the quick enema in the bathroom if you got enough room to lay down in the bathroom, and but whatever it is, the mentality is to make it happen with absolutely no excuses. No excuses. That's the key, and that's the attitude. When you have an attitude where there's no compromise, no excuses, you're gonna get this done. You're gonna, wherever it goes, whatever it is, you're gonna do it. That's the mentality. Brother Air likes to bring up the example of when I was pretty early on practicing the diet, and I was like really staying on my schedule, the enema schedule, and we had took a trip to Chicago. We were staying in a car in a parking garage, like a 24-hour parking garage, and we just slept in the car and was out playing music on the street, and it's kind of a hardcore type of thing, and I didn't want to get off of my my enema schedule. And so I had brought, this was real early days. Now it's easy for me. I got ways I can hook up, and I travel with everything that I need to be able to do my enema. But back then, it was like the early days. I'm like, all right, look, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna do an enema, and I'm gonna find a place to do it. And so we're in the middle of Chicago, and it's kind of pretty early in the morning, and I get this lemon juice and this water, and I really didn't have a way to warm it up. I just put it together in this bag, and I went down and I went to a Starbucks, and I was prepared to buy something because I figured, okay, they probably won't give me the key to get into the bathroom unless I buy something, but I just ended up just asking, like, hey, can I have the bathroom key? And they gave it to me. So I took it, went in the bathroom, about 20 minutes, I did my enema, and returned the key, said thank you, and left. I didn't buy anything, And so it's about problem solving. That was okay, what's the problem? I'm on the road, where can I do an enema out here? And the solution was, I'm gonna find me a bathroom and I'm gonna do it. So there's no excuses. And I got to talk about when I was getting started in the dorms, it was public bathrooms. I was doing enemas in public bathrooms. And people, I just didn't care what anybody thought. People saw me go in, they saw me come out the bathroom 30 minutes later, they give me a crazy look. There was like pool table right outside. I just didn't care. And that's an attitude. Can you look yourself in the mirror and really, are you at that space where you don't care what people think of you? You know what you're doing is right. And you're gonna do it. It's not hurting anybody else. It's like you gonna do this to check it out and see what's at the other side. That's attitude. So if you want to thrive, you have to put the Mucusless Diet Healing System at the center of your world and your life. There's no compromise. There's been a number of people that they try to hide it. They try to hide it from everybody. And my thing is, I don't push it in people's face. Like, if you meet me, I'm not like bringing that up immediately. If people that don't know who I am, but if it comes up in a conversation, I don't steer away. I'm just tell people, I just talk about it like it's the most normal thing in the world, and then that gets people's attention, like, oh, well, wait a minute, I ain't heard of that before. You know, I get in a little talk for a little bit, and then when if they seem interested, then I refer them to the book. Like, hey, well, if you're actually interested in this, check out Mucusless Diet Healing System book. And that's it. And that's the end of that discussion. I had to learn that the hard way over years, where I would talk too much about it in the early years when I was excited, wanting to tell everybody. But, you know, I learned later, like, nah, you just get people hooked in, and if they have to take some steps. You know, this is valuable information. Other people got to do some work if they want it. Put the Mucusless Diet Healing System at the center of your life and your world, and where there's no compromise. There's no, I'm gonna go off into these restaurants or this stuff or whatever it is. If it's gonna cause you to fall off the wagon and have a relapse, you put yourself in an environment, or maybe you have a pus and mucus relapse. You've been doing really good, like, man, I've been doing great. Then you get the phone call, and now you go out to the restaurant, and before you know it, you're having things you hadn't eaten in however long. Don't let that happen. Don't let that be the thing that the excuse. You know, have that attitude. If you find yourself in a situation where you have to go someplace with people, bring your food with you. Bring your food, like, right to the table. Like, I don't get food that other people prepare. You know, I don't eat food that's not coming from a vegan place, because maybe there's some cross-contamination. So you bring your own stuff, and you can sit there. And again, in order to do that, you have to not care what the folks think of you. You're sitting there eating your stuff. So that's what it is. Put that at the center of your life. So I thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, if you haven't signed up yet, go down below, click the link, sign up for the Mucus-free Life Insiders Club. You're gonna get 3 free PDFs with very valuable information, some free recipes to help you bust and eliminate mucus out of your body, mucus-free menu planning information, as well as my favorite top 10 mucus-free foods. Click the link, you're gonna get all of that when you sign up. And yeah, and before you leave, before you go, right here, check this out. This is a great video right here that you're gonna really enjoy. So I want you to click right here, and I'm gonna see you over there. Peace, love, and breath.